You unravel me with a melody. You surround me with a song of delight.
So I grew up in a Christian home, and I have a mom and a dad who love me so much, and siblings, and we grew up going to church. But one of the things that we didn't really talk about was purity and pornography. And so when I was 11, I just started having these curious thoughts, and as my body started to change and I started to become interested in boys, I wondered exactly what was going on, not only physically but like in my heart and emotionally. And I thought, what better place to look these answers up than the internet. And I was too embarrassed to ask my parents or ask my siblings or friends. And I thought that a good option would be to go to the internet. And so I remember I was 11 and I searched up just one word on Google, and immediately when I clicked enter, lots of different links popped up, lots of different pictures, and my mind was immediately filled with more than what I needed to know. And I know at that moment I was hooked on this new world that I discovered, and I continued to go back to it. And it sparked my curiosity and made this little flame into a huge bonfire of wondering what was next and what was more, and I couldn't get enough. And I hit rock bottom when I found myself in a really unhealthy relationship with a guy. And we used something like pornography to spice up our relationship, and found myself really realizing that this guy didn't love me, and that those images and videos that we see on the internet was not filling me up. And I found myself so dissatisfied every time we watched stuff like that together, and that we tried to do those things together. It wasn't doing anything for me, and I felt emptier and emptier every day, to the point where he realized that he didn't want to be with me. And I realized that all of those things that I'd been watching and trying to emulate and find something wasn't enough. And I didn't really know why. I had thought, just because I hadn't done the full, thing that was on the screen meant that I was a virgin, and that I was pure, and that I wasn't giving away the biggest gift that everyone had talked about. But the truth is, in that moment, I truly had given away a gift that the church talks about all the time, and I didn't see that because I wasn't actually doing the act. But the truth is, when you see those images and you participate your heart in those images, that is a lot like unwrapping a gift that is not meant to be unwrapped in that moment, in that time with that person that I was with. And I felt myself really giving away a big piece of me without noticing it, not knowing. So even though I grew up in a Christian family and God was very much at the center of our family, purity wasn't something that we really talked about a lot. And my mindset on virginity was that was what I had until I actually went into the act of having sex when I was married. But what I've learned over the years is that purity is just not simply a state that you're in. It's a process. And the process that I went through was figuring out that although I was physically a virgin, my mind wasn't, and the things that I had seen and the things that I had heard definitely tainted my heart and brought me really far from that pure love that God so long desires for us to have as His children. And so
although I was physically a virgin, I know in my heart I had seen and heard so many things that would actually say otherwise.
So in 2 weeks, I'm going to be 20. And I'm thinking about that girl 4 years ago, who thought that those images and that those pictures were real life. And that was the definition of love. And that is where I should place my identity and my worth in. And it's been a crazy long road of who am I? Where am I? And thinking that because I've fallen into those temptations and given into them means that I'm worth anything less. And the truth is that is a lie. That those things on the internet and those videos are complete lies. That is not love. The truth is that I am loved, and the person that loves me is Jesus Christ, who died on the cross for all of those sinful images and those people that get trapped in the lies that is what life is. God sent his son on the cross to die for me, and that he truly loves me enough that he sent his son to shed his blood for those times that I tried to run away and fall in love with things that Satan tried to tell me are much, much better. And that's when I became a Christian 4 years later after all of that and all of that sin and all of that confusion.
Recently, I started a blog, and my blog is really centered on the aspect of purity and just how much it has impacted my life and how it's made my life not only different but in a really amazing and beautiful way. And so I have a few blog posts on just how not only pornography has affected my life, but other things along the same lines. And I'm also in an organization on campus called Sanctify Ministries, and it has brought me to this amazing group, a community of people who have definitely struggled with these sins, have seen and been revealed the biggest hole in their heart and their depravity in Jesus Christ, but have come together and lifted each other up. And I've met so many great women with fantastic stories of probably the worst pains that they have ever felt in their life, and seen and done some of the worst things that they could think of. But God has brought them out, and God has brought me out of those holes, and has grown us into honestly the most beautiful things to glorify and honor him. And it has been the greatest journey of my life so far. One of the things that I struggled with the most after I did come out of this sin was shame. I thought that I was this black sheep amongst a bunch of white sheep, and that I would forever be tainted. But the truth is that I want to tell you that God sent his son on the cross to die for your sins. He shed his blood so that the things that you've done, no matter how big or small, they're washed away. And that stain that you have from the images that you've seen, from the things that you've heard, from the stuff that you've done, is no longer, and completely washed away and forgotten because of his blood. And so you no longer have to carry the weight and the baggage of the things that you've done, no matter how many times. It's nothing in the eyes of God. And it took me a long time to see that, and a lot of tears, and a lot of just anger towards myself. But I am forgiven, and I'm redeemed. And so are you. If these are things that you've struggled with too, you're definitely forgiven and loved by God.